Love Auditorium, which you can see is not the biggest building. We have a seating capacity of 800 with all of our classes being well over 650. So meaning we could fit maybe one class in here at a time with teachers and everything. And that's no good when this is the only place that we can gather for informational things and whatnot. Also, me and Julia are actually both in the band, and we can't have our band concerts here anymore. The band won't even fit on the stage. Our parents surely can't fit in all these seats, and the acoustics aren't the best for performances. If you want to follow me down here a little bit, there's these seats. A bunch of them had to be replaced recently for water damage. And
you can see the water damage up in the ceiling.
So this likes to flood really bad. And if you see there's tape down here on these seats, they had to be replaced or removed to fix water damage and whatnot.
You can see where it's warped the wood at the bottom of these stairs, which are also broken in a lot of places. Yeah, drama uses this stage just like all of our other performance arts other than choir. They use a church. The stage itself is pretty dangerous. There's a lot of places in the back where it's fallen through. If you can see the ladder to the catwalk up there. If you go there, it leads you through the ceiling up to about right there where those lights are, and everything up there is super dangerous, and a lot of the ropes are like broken through, so whenever theater is using it and running around up there for plays, it's completely possible that they could fall through the ceiling like at any given minute. There's one bathroom back there that's like a single toilet, and anytime you flush it, you can hear it just everywhere on the stage because of the acoustics. So whenever they're running plays, if people have to use the bathroom that are on set, they just have to leave it in the toilet until the play is over.
Another thing about being backstage with the big productions we're doing, especially this spring with Beauty and the Beast, I know there's a numerous amount of people involved. They have to stand outside in that little breezeway back there between the choir room and Love Auditorium because there's not enough room for all of them backstage. I know that can be an issue. And talking about bathrooms, back up here, there's a boys' bathroom and a girls' bathroom, and they also probably need renovations because they've been here for a while. Welcome to the ladies' bathroom. We just wanted to mention there's only 3 stalls here, and with an 800 seating capacity in Love Auditorium, I'm not sure that 3 stalls is the most efficient way to take care of things.
No, and it just gets really crowded in here.
Next we head to the freshman cafeteria.
You know they have 2 freshman lunches now?
What?
Yeah, they do. It's weird. I remember in middle school, that's all we wanted was to be all together in one lunch. And we were, but now there's 2.
No longer. Well, we're divided into 3, so much for unity.
Yeah.
And friendship.
It's 5
lunches.
The second lunch for the 10th through 12th graders, I have that one. I go to half of my 5th period class, and then to lunch, and then come back for the second half of 5th period.
And that's done solely because we don't have enough seating in our cafeteria and outside for everyone to eat at once. Or even to divide it into 2, so we have 5.
Yeah. And we'll get to that later.
Oh yeah.
So here we are at the freshman cafeteria. This building has a 300 seating capacity, and the freshman class is way over 300. They're close to like 1,000, I'm pretty sure.
They're huge, so most of them have to sit outside.
And not even sit, there's not really many seats, so most stand outside to eat their lunch. With this building, there's just obviously not enough seating for the whole freshman class. The tables are really close together because we don't have enough room. I know a bunch of students that actually have to wait in line for their lunch, all lunch. They don't have.
And then you don't have time to eat.
Exactly.
Also, there are no bathrooms in this building, and there's no bathrooms that are accessible from outside other than in the freshman math building, so if you have first lunch and there's classes going on, then you have to disrupt class to go to the bathroom.
So if the millage does pass, one of the plans is to take out this 9th grade cafeteria, this band building behind me, and over here it holds most of the freshman math classes. They would take out all those buildings and construct a new cafeteria that would host all grades 10th through 12th, because the 9th grade would be moved to a junior high. So that's a pretty large cafeteria that we definitely need lots of room.
All right, so we have 2 buildings called Building 8. They're 2 totally separate buildings, but they're both Building 8. So we call the 1-story one, the one that we're walking through right now, Motel 8, because it's small, and then there's a bigger 2-story one that we call Hotel 8. So this is the motel. All of the classrooms, it's not like an enclosed building, so all the classrooms face out, another reason we call it the motel. So if it's raining, there's very little coverage and you're probably gonna get soaked and really gross.
Another, just a tidbit, there's no bathrooms on this side of the building or in anywhere in the motel part. So you would have to cross through this courtyard and go to the bathrooms in building 8.
And this courtyard, even though we have all of these drainage systems right here, it floods pretty badly too.
It does. Another thing, if we're just thinking about emergency situations, we do have the assistant principals downstairs. Their offices are in this building. But all these students, in case of fire, tornado, honestly, I'm not sure what they do. They might run into this building. They might just stay there.
I'm pretty sure for tornadoes, they go in there, but that's an issue. If there's a tornado happening, you don't want to have to go outside.
No, especially like a school shooter situation. They're out in the open. So, how we talked about Love Auditorium earlier. If the millage does pass, Love Auditorium will be expanded into a new performing arts center, and they would tear down the Building 8 motel, so it would take up that much room. So just think of how much nicer that space would be. The temperatures aren't very well regulated in any of these rooms. One of my friends has a picture of the thermostat that said 53 degrees on a winter day, which is funny. But also I've heard being in this class, there's rodents running across the ceilings and ceiling tiles falling out.
Because the thing with Hotel 8, the building right there, it has an old ceiling in it, and then the current ceiling is like on top of it. So there's two layers of ceilings, and like a bunch of animals live in there.
It's true.
And roaches are a problem on all of campus, but especially in these two buildings. It gets really bad. I had a class in Motel 8, and there was this like dead roach in one of the lights. So just every time you turned on the light, its outline would be projected to the floor.
And that's awesome.
It was awesome.
A bunch of required classes are here. Like there's health. Health is a required class for anyone to graduate.
Most of the history classes.
History classes are in Building 8 Hotel. Then there's, I didn't know this until this year, but there's Spanish classes, and they're just kind of thrown into the corner over there.
And there's a sort of teacher's lounge area in there, and it's where our SROs are stationed, and those facilities could really use some help.
That's true. So now we're heading to the 10th through 12th cafeteria. So keep in mind, like we said earlier, there are 3 lunches now. It was split into 2 different lunches. But the classes just keep growing and the facilities don't grow with us. So we had to split to 3 lunches.
Yeah, so a lot of people will eat outside. Some of them will eat down in the Building 8 courtyard. If it's raining, those you can see there's no umbrellas. There's some trees, but it's winter and they're dead. So
I've actually seen kids sitting out on these tables while it's raining with umbrellas eating their food.
Yeah.
Because there's just not enough space inside. So here we are in the 10th through 12th cafeteria. That means all the sophomores, juniors, and seniors eat lunch in this cafeteria, or they would in an ideal world. But we have the lunches split into 3 lunches. You have one right after 4th period. My lunch that splits, I go to half of my 5th period, then to lunch, then back to my 5th period. And then a 3rd lunch that's not until after 5th period, which is pretty late. But as you can see, it's pretty packed with seats and tables and everything, and that's still not enough with the 500 seating capacity in each class of well over 600 students. So
even with the division of all 3 lunches, there's still not enough room in here for everyone to fit. And you can't smell it right now because this is a video, but it's not pleasant. It never has been pleasant. It's just generally unappetizing.
it's true. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty dark in here, and the lights actually turn off quite frequently, and there's just nothing you do about it.
During lunch.
Yeah, if you want to walk over this way with us, it's much darker in this area.
Yes, these are the bathrooms. There's only 3 stalls in each bathroom, and the water leaks in both of them. So this is where you would actually get your food. You can go right there for this little like sandwich thing that's pretty new, or you'll go through there for lunch. A lot of students have to wait until the end of the lunch to even make it through the line.
They do.
Yeah, we have to divide up the line, so they've used bungee cord and a music stand. This really adds to the aesthetic as a whole.
Yeah, I actually see there's a few kids that sit at my table that stand in line for their lunch all lunch, and they have to eat it really quickly at the very end of their lunch. Oh, and I don't know if we'll be able to get it on camera, but in these lights over here, kind of like we were talking about in Building 8, there's roaches that have crawled into the lights and either died or still survived. Fun fact, sometimes these little, I don't even know, these little seats have come off, like they've just been broken.
Like this.
Yeah, and you're left to sit on a metal stoop. On a pretty day like this, a bunch of people actually sit outside, which is good. It's good to see people outside now, but just think about all the people that would have to move inside when it rains or find another place to sit. It's no good. So, Building 1.
So Building 1 feels kind of isolated. It's just like on this corner of campus, so whenever we have pep rallies there, it's kind of a walk.
I had a bunch of friends a few years ago, well I guess it was last year, they had their first period class in Building 1. It was a history class, and they had to walk from the field house, which y'all know where the football field is. That's where a bunch of the students had to park. They would walk from the field house all the way up here to Building 1, which is opposite sides of the campus, every morning.
Welcome to the Building 1 gym. This is where we have all of our basketball games and pep rallies, all that good stuff. The maximum seating is 950 people, which might sound like a lot, especially compared to the cafeterias, but it's still not enough to get all of our classes in at the same time, much less students and their parents.
It's true. Another thing about about Building 1, of all the sports teams, I would say that vaguely, but not football, but I know basketball, cheer, dance, volleyball, all these people need a place to practice, not just to actually have games and whatever. But I know when I was in cheer in 9th grade, highlight, we would have to reserve different gyms, so like Building 20 and Building 21, and Building 1 was never open. And the cheer team gets here really early in the morning,
6:45.
obviously, yeah, 6:45, to practice more, but also just to have more time in the gym because you can't find more practice time outside of that. Basketball, boys and girls, they alternate which days they use Building 1 gym and the Building 4 gym, but in the future, if the millage does pass, there's plans to tear down several buildings in this area and expand it to not just a gym, but a PE complex where there would be practice rooms for cheer and dance and even actual PE classes, which also have to find time to have space and whatnot.
Yeah, an issue we've had is scheduling when PE and weightlifting classes can actually take place, and those are required credits. And because of our lack of gyms, we don't really know how to work that in.
So here we are in the infamous Building 1 gym. As you can see, we recently redid the floor and these bleachers, and that's actually very nice.
Yeah,
it looks great.
But if you come this way a little bit, you can look up at, I don't know if you can really call them windows. It's the closest thing we have to a ventilation system in here because the air conditioning doesn't really work, neither does the heating unit. So in the summer, whenever we have pep rallies in like August, it gets so ridiculously hot in here. Like on numerous occasions, I've been convinced that I was gonna die in this building.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see some of the ceiling tiles are messed up and falling through a bit. There's one specific light over there that has a ridiculous amount of dead bugs in it.
If you wanna come over here and see, like we said, we do have the pep rallies in here, and with the pep rallies we play music and everything over the speakers, and just the music system is just no good. You can see up here, that's where they would connect it to the speakers.
Yeah, whenever they play the national anthem before basketball games, you can't always totally tell what it is. So you're just assuming it's the national anthem, and you're like, oh, I guess I put my hand up here.
These locker rooms there's one over there, I think, and one over here. There might be one over there. The locker rooms are used by a bunch of different people. They have the cheer locker rooms. I know girls, boys basketball, volleyball sometimes has to use these locker rooms.
And I've heard, one is basketball.
Yeah, the visitors. I've heard rumors that they're painted red from when we were the Bryant Mustangs, which is super old.
What, 70s?
Yeah, the 70s,
bright
whatever.
Red.
That there's a lot of bug infestation and maybe even rodents in there as well, which is funny because I know the public sees like, oh, we got a new gym floor, and it looks really nice, it really does. But the things that are used every day aren't up to par, really.
No, in the visitors' locker room, like that's how other sports teams view us. That's sort of their introduction to us, and it's this red roach infested, like glorified closet.
Just a note on plans for if the millage does pass. Like we said earlier, there would be a PE facility, so not just all these different gyms that everyone has to schedule time for, but there would be room for different practices and actual PE classes, which Julia said those are required. Everyone has to have one of those. Right now they're like double, maybe even triple blocked in one little building 20 gym, and they just walk around sometimes. There's just not much for them to do. So just to really renovate the whole PE curriculum as well, we would need more space, and that's what the millage would expand this on.